You know I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it a back day. Yeah, I got game, God in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the Charles. I be speeding on this beat, call it Turnpike Miles. Yeah, it's Boo signing on, John to the Hancock, and I'm always key, I'm ready to unlock. I be doing big things.
Welcome back, everyone, to the newest edition of Once a Week. I'm Billy Janludis, and today we're just keeping the momentum moving. Last week was our 300th straight week and 300th straight episode, and today we want to keep the ball rolling for you guys with a very special guest. Someone who is truly helping people and creating an impact of healing wherever she can. With over 14 years of experience as a nurse practitioner, with training in different modalities of medicine, including conventional and functional, she's able to bring her clients a simplified guide to find the root cause of their symptoms, to allow deeper healing to take place. And guys, we're going to dive into all that today to make sure you can take your step of your own healing journey and however it means for you. Guys, I give you the root cause practitioner and the functional medicine expert, Rachel Headings. Rachel, I thank you so much for joining us here on Once a Week. Welcome.
Hello, everybody. I'm so excited to be here. I'm super jazzed to just speak from the heart.
Exactly, right? The energy's there today. I love it. But Rachel, no, I thank you so much for being here because you bring so much to the table for your clients, but you bring so much to the table of healing. So give us some of the backstory right now. You have 14 years experience as a nurse practitioner, but how did you step into this healing field, but also healing journey to teach people there's different areas to this that truly help us?
I think, like a lot of practitioners, a similar thing you'll find is that we are self-healers. I was very sick as a child, allergies, asthma, rashes, boils, anemia, just a lot of, indigestion issues. And my parents took me from doctor to doctor to doctor, really with the same answer. Here's an antibiotic. Here's a steroid. Here's something that's just going to make you feel worse and like crap. And so eventually we found some chiropractors, and they're like, hey, why don't you try an elimination diet, some anti-inflammatory herbs, some things that maybe what I would call now work on root cause. And that's when my body started to heal. And so when I found functional medicine in 2011, I was like, oh my gosh, they're explaining why I was sick all those years and what I did to fix it and rewire just how my cells were communicating and all the things going on that were creating my symptoms. And so it's just taken me on this journey to keep adding tools to my tool basket to help people heal.
Yeah, I love that. And that's the beauty of it too, where our experiences that we go through, whether it is all the struggles you had growing up, it's really just paving the way for how we can help other people along the way. And for now, right, you to have this experience where you understand the deeper areas of root cause or healing, for you to bring that to people, like that's the thing. There, people could heal from any specific person, any individual could need to heal from anything that's specific to them. But when you help them with the root cause, like you said, the rewiring process begins to where they're able to understand how their body reacts, what's causing it, and what steps could work for them, potentially could look completely different for the other person. It's a beautiful work.
Exactly right. And that's where the art really comes into healing.
Mhm.
And that's where I really started to expand my toolkit because I thought, oh, functional medicine's the answer.
Yep.
I got really good at it. We did all the labs, $2,000 worth of labs, support all the detox pathways, put all the nutritional, things back in and get all that, that stuff supported.
Yep.
Oh, guess what, guys? I was still not right. There was still some anxiety in here. There was still some tension. I was still balls to the walls overdoing it.
Yeah.
And it was, so I had to start getting strategies on stress management, self-compassion, and learning a lot about the emotional aspects to healing and kind of working on the spiritual aspects of healing. And that's where I found the real magic to take hold. You take ownership in a different way.
Right. And that's the beautiful part of it. Like you mentioned the spiritual aspect, which I definitely want to get into. And everyone's journey is different, but adding these tools that you keep saying to your toolkit allows you to see things from different perspectives, to see things in what works for you. And when I have clients that come through, whether it's a a spiritual goal, a mindset goal, a physical goal, emotional goal, whatever it is, like I said, everyone's so different, but when people understand the root, but what's under there, they're allowing themselves to heal from trauma, to heal from past experiences, to heal from something that they completely overlooked. But that's what we're trying to do in life, is get to that internal aspect. Because when you can heal the internal, one,
Mm,
the external changes, but then everything
right.
else gets so much better outside of it, right?
You're lighting me up because that's exactly what I has been my experience. I thought it all ended at functional medicine, changing your diet, getting on the supplements. Okay. Well, guess what? I still had that tension, that anxiety, and it wasn't until I started addressing, that little girl who didn't feel good enough or didn't feel like she had a voice or was disconnected and people pleasing and overdoing and over efforting, until I addressed those things and learned how to nurture her
Yep.
and stop doing what I was doing
Yep.
and figuring out how to, keep my stress under control and still accomplish stuff. That's when things really started to change for me.
Yeah, right. And that's the incredible thing about life, where regardless of what the experience is, what the trauma is, you mentioned to really go to the little girl, to heal the little girl inside. And I like to tell my clients, whether it's boy or girl, but when you heal the boy, the man comes alive. When you heal the girl, the woman comes alive.
Mm,
But for us to, we're so in society nowadays, we're so focused on the next thing, the go, 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 the next part of life, the to-do list. We forget all of the things we've been through because we're rushing to get to the next thing in life. If you're
exactly.
rushing, you're missing out on one, everything that's there for you, but everything that you are. And to be able to
Exactly.
look back, like, oh my goodness, that could have been an anchor or baggage that I'm carrying around. But if I heal it and let go, the next level just happens. The door opens. And I think that's what life's trying to teach us individually. Whoever's listening right now, what you're experiencing is happening for you, not to
Yeah.
you. And to allow
Yeah.
you to heal from it or learn from it, there's a whole nother level of life for everyone, and whatever that looks like. But to experience it, life gets
Mm.
good.
You're speaking my language. I like to say not even a Grammy is going to make you feel worthy,
Mm,
because it's like that next thing isn't what you think it's going to be.
yeah.
It's the inside work. It's the, self-compassion, the listening to the kind, non-judgmental voice. It's, intentional rest, things that can really start to change your perception and your outlook that makes such a big impact on your health.
100%. I completely agree with that. And that's the beauty of it too. Like I'm a big gym goer. I'm in the gym every single morning and whatnot for enjoyment, for health and fitness reasons. And when you really take into account every other piece, every other factor outside of the actual weight room, you can get incredible results, or you can completely throw your results out the window, because there's a mindset piece to it. There's a spiritual
Mm,
piece to it that I think a lot of people kind of tend to overlook. And that's why I love teaching clients and helping people with, is when, like, everyone has different goals. Everyone has different goals, dreams, journeys, purposes in life. And some people really hone in on the physical aspect. Some people hone in on emotional and mindset. Some people hone on spiritual, but they don't necessarily give the focus to the other two areas of that triangle. And when we really kind of bring the three together, past experiences, everything like that fades away, but healing happens to where you see everything, the all encompasses of life. And it's just like I said, life gets good. It's awesome.
it's a harmony and a joy like no other.
Yeah.
You wake up so joyful and you serve from such an abundance and overflow
Mm,
that didn't exist before.
yeah.
I was serving out of overwhelm and complete have tos
Mm,
instead of get tos and blessed tos.
that's awesome.
And it made a big difference when I could get out of fight or flight, calm the nervous system down, and realize all the blessings I really had in my life, and that I can make those choices,
Yeah. Right.
to maintain that and not to keep overachieving and over efforting. Because I love the gym too,
Yep.
but my results are so much better now that I do it within the structure of blessed to, instead of
Yeah.
I have to get to the gym and pound this out and then get to the next thing and then the next thing and then the next thing.
Right.
It's just a
Exactly.
different energy.
Yeah, it's so awesome when you realize you don't have to rush through life. You can, one, be in the moment in life, but
Mhm.
two, like you get to enjoy life again when you're not rushing through it. So, that brings me to my question. Or first question, I guess you could say, is when a client comes to you, or maybe you're speaking at a workshop, seminar, whatever it is, how do you help people create this progress? Because everyone's different. So, how do you kind of start the process with maybe there's a viewer right now that's really tapping into what we're getting into right now? Say they come to you and they come to Rachel and they're trying to figure out, like, okay, I think this is for me, but I don't really know where to start. What is your starting process for someone so they can kind of start to put the pieces together or take the steps?
Yeah, so first and foremost, we take an overall of your routine, what you're doing, what you're eating, how you're breathing, how you're processing stress. I mean, we look at it all because
Mm,
all of these little things compile into big things.
right.
And then we start to target, well, what's going to make the biggest difference in your schedule and your life that will make the biggest impact in your health.
Mm,
So if you're super fatigued and your adrenals are tapped out, we're going to start talking about how to say no, how to eat protein to stabilize your blood sugar, how to have intentional rest, how to
mm,
slow down, and then how to maybe get some supportive herbs and supplements in there to just kind of get
yeah.
them supported.
Right.
We'll talk about diet changes. A lot of people love to eat the standard American diet, and you and I both know where that takes you.
Yeah.
And no, the diet's not the end all, and the restrictive diet is not the end all. I don't stand behind that by any means. But in the beginning, when we're trying to calm the body down and get everything rebalanced, let's get the inflammatory foods out and put in some high nutrient dense foods and
mm,
really focus on anti-inflammatory foods.
that's
So
awesome.
things like that would be up front in
Yeah.
the process. Sometimes we use some supplements and herbs to support drainage, elimination, and then comes the bigger mindset piece.
Yeah.
What do you want?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people know what they don't want, but they don't know what they want and why do you want it? And
Yeah.
so we target that and really try to work on the mindset piece of healing.
Yeah. I love that. And it's like, people come in, you start them at ground level. And then when they're ready, you level them up to the deeper areas, like you said, the mindset piece and everything that entails. And that's such an incredible process. And I love it when, someone comes in, you teach them how foods impact them. And
Mm,
that's something that I had to learn myself.
mhm.
And I look different than everyone else. So certain foods impact me differently. And so people listening right now, sometimes when you start to change up your diet in these slight little changes, the energy comes back, the life comes back to you. You realize, like with me, my example that I always use is certain foods that impact me is sodium and salts. So if I have sodium and salts, one, you bloat up because of that, but two, I just feel it in me. So I'm
Mhm.
sluggish and I can't get the energy, the movement going. So for you to bring a client in or even just hop on a call with someone and that's where you start, believe me, everyone listening, that makes such a world of difference, these slight changes. And as Rachel just said, you start with the small routines of life and then you start to expand it because life is going to keep expanding always. However, the steps that Rachel takes you on helps you see all of that. So I think that's major, Rachel. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I really like to explain food as information. You know,
Mm,
your cells are communicating all the time, and the foods we give it can communicate stress and inflammation,
mhm.
or it can communicate health and resilience.
Yeah.
And so, if you really boil it down to each food choice, one or the other, it makes it a lot easier to make that choice and to
Yeah.
understand, up front, oh, yeah, this is going to support me a lot more than a donut or something that's
Yeah.
high carb and
Right.
just really going to imbalance your blood sugar a lot of times.
Yeah, that's awesome. And one area that you mentioned to us is, yes, you're helping the body, you're helping the mind, but also the spirit just as much. And guys, I'll put her website at the end of this, but you can go on her website and she talks about helping people with intuition and really understanding that and stepping into that. And Rachel, my question for that is when people are open to it, when they're open to that, to the spiritual understanding of what our health and our healing journey is, it brings so many different areas in. However, you start to really, I want to use the word cleanse, you know, whether, and so why I ask that is when people come in and you lead them in that area, is that meditation? Is that prayer? Is that deep breathing? Because deep breathing brings such a cleansing to every aspect of the body. How does that area play in your coaching or with audiences for that matter that you step into?
It's really first and foremost, we lose ourself.
Mm,
Some of us at a very young age. When did you give your power away? When did you start listening to everyone else and making yourself, unseen, unheard?
Yep.
That little voice inside talks to you all the time, but when are you paying attention to it? If you're so busy, when are you plugging in? So we bring that in first and foremost. Take time for yourself every day, whether it be 15 minutes, 30 minutes, journaling, meditation, deep breathing, nature walk, salt bath, whatever it is that works for you that you can do, that's not going to make you run the other direction, because it
Yeah.
needs to be something that you are going to do it.
Yeah.
I call it me time.
Yeah.
And it's non-negotiable.
Yeah. Good for you. I love that. It's true. And I think that right there, non-negotiable. I think one thing that I think society has forgotten at this point is that like you're living your life and
Mhm.
we're trying to complete the to-do list of what
Mhm.
life essentially told us to have, a checklist of, oh, I need to have this amount, I need to have this to feel happy, to feel good. And then as you mentioned earlier, like the Grammy, it's like when you get it, you don't really feel fulfilled or like you got what you wanted because the internal aspect. But when you can allow, like you said, 15, 20 minutes, heck, if it's 5 to 10 minutes, a listener right now, or at a starting point to expand to 15 to 20 to 30 to an hour, whatever it is, but to really look at your 24-hour day and say, you know what time do I have for myself? I try and teach that to my clients, and everyone's coming in from different levels. And it's tough for people to set aside time for themselves because we've all been trained so much to rush and go and put ourselves last. But if you're putting
Exactly.
yourself last, you have no energy left for anything that one brings you joy, but two,
Right.
you kind of forget, like, oh wait, this is my life, you know?
And I used to do that, get up, go to the gym, get the kids ready for school, get dinner started, run off to work, just go, 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 come back, do it all over again. There was no stopping point. And when I finally jumped off the cliff and said, I'm going to start a healing practice where I can really help people how I know I'm going to help
Yeah.
people heal, was when the pandemic started.
Mm,
That is what gave me the courage to face my limiting beliefs, my doubts. I can't do this, whatever it took. And when I started that journey, the first thing that had to change for me was my morning routine
mm,
and my mindset.
yeah.
So I instead woke up and spent time in meditation,
Yep.
in journaling, and what does my heart need?
Yeah.
And what are my fears that are coming out? And just starting to rewire the voices inside and who I was listening to. And that's when everything changed.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. And that's the work we need to do. And that's
Yeah.
why it's so great to see your story and hear your story. Because, like we said at the beginning, your experiences are what's paving the way for you to help people. And
Mm.
I love that you brought up the pandemic, and that's how you took the step for yourself. And I've been saying this to audiences and whoever I can, but when you actually take a step back and look at the pandemic, it truly, as much as it brought so much struggle to the entire world, it was a major change and a major blessing in the whole limelight of all of it because it allowed people to one get time back to themselves so they can take a step to what they're meant to do. And Rachel, you're a complete definition of that. Where you, as you said, you
Exactly.
jumped off the cliff, you took a leap of faith and you said, you know what? My goal, my purpose is to help people heal as I have healed. Let me shine that light to people. And so now that you're doing it, you're realizing if you didn't have that space to really get away and think on it and focus on it and put the faith into it and the action into it for that matter, it wouldn't have been here. So all these people that you have helped and are trying to help more and more, they wouldn't have been able to continue their journey. And I say that all to people where you have to get away. You have to give yourself time for no matter what it is, whether it was pandemic time you did it and you had that dream come to you and you had that step or that goal come to you. Now is the time in the very moment to take a step on it. And as Rachel said, to break away from it, to really dive into the routine and the mindset piece, you start to really reevaluate your life to where you're building your life back up. It's not the schedule and the go, go, go trying to tear your life down. And so, Rachel, I commend you so much for that. And tell us more on that, the leap of faith, because I think everyone listening right now has that point in their life where they need to take a leap of faith. I had mine, and Rachel, you had yours. But people listening, the leap of faith will always come to you. And when you take that step, you learn the lesson in life. Like, yes, you're falling for a second, but then you really start to grow your wings and you start to fly. So, Rachel, tell us a little bit more of that leap of faith right there.
I have been thinking before the pandemic for at least 4 years. I had the dream of having a virtual practice where I could help people heal from treating the root cause, doing what I'm doing now. And when we came when all of this transpired and the pandemic hit, I was working at the University of Iowa Hospital and Clinics as a nurse practitioner, 9 to 5, 5 days a week, whatever. And I felt absolutely powerless when the pandemic hit. My kids, I have 3 children, they're home alone. My
Mm,
youngest was supposed to be starting school. She ended up starting school in daycare because the
mm,
schools were all closed. We hit the quarantine. They're home alone. I'm still going into work because
yeah.
our hospital didn't shut down. We're frontline workers. My husband's anesthesia. So that feeling of powerlessness
Yeah.
was something I couldn't stand, that I couldn't be there for my children when they were needing me, when they were scared, when they were anything. And that's what it took for me to say, enough's enough.
Mm,
I have what it takes. I'm going to figure this out. And I entered
mm.
a mentorship to help build this practice. And the first 3 modules were on mindset. And I'm like, what's mindset?
Yeah, I get you. Yeah.
And so then that's when it started to change. I actually started to believe I could do this
Yep.
because before that, it was doubt, it was blame. I was scared. I can't figure it out. I'm not enough, all the things.
Yeah.
And when I started to really face all that and look it in the mirror and be like, I see you, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Yeah.
And I just kept showing up like that
Yeah.
and kept, clearing it out. Like you said, cleaning house.
Yeah.
And now you wake up 2 years later, you're living your dream, you're creating your life by design. And you're like, what happened? How did I get here? I'm so blessed.
Yeah.
So blessed to be able to be here for my children, show up for myself how I need to so I can serve my clients from overflow
Yeah.
and abundance and just pure joy.
Yeah. And that I love that ending right there, pure joy. And I think we start to realize that we're moving in step to where we're meant to be in life when we're feeling that higher level, that energy, that joy, that love with everything that you're doing. The abundance you mentioned, the energy that you show and just describing that shows that you made the right choice. And
Oh,
with people listening right now, with taking that leap of faith brings, as Rachel said, it brings doubts, it brings questions. However, to take that and then feel the joy that comes from taking that step is your sign, is your signal you did what you were supposed to do. And believe me, the next step always reveals itself, as it did for Rachel, with the next step being those 3 modulars on mindset. And it's like, oh, what is that? But then you dove deep, you learned it. So now you're understanding, oh my goodness, this is such a major factor to life, to anyone's life in general, to where you're teaching it now. It's
well,
extremely.
and I think we can bring it back to people's healing journeys because we're just, reacting so much out of our schedule, out of our have tos, out of our, would have, should have, could have, the people, expectations. And all of a sudden we wake up and we're tired, we're, overweight, we're brain fog, we have no energy. Our life, every way we look, is stress.
Mm,
And it's like, what's it going to take to make that change? Because most people think change is scary.
mhm.
And it's like to take that first step takes a lot of courage.
Yeah,
I just want to let people know there's people out here like me that can help you take that first
yeah,
step. We're
exactly.
walking the talk, we're doing it ourselves. It was scary.
Yep,
I was freaked out to take
yep,
that first step.
yeah,
And I'm still pinching myself that I was able to do it.
yeah,
But,
right?
it's like things just showed up right when I needed them to help
Mhm,
me along the way.
right?
And that's why I want people to know it's like when you commit to yourself and you take ownership of your journey and you're ready to change
Mhm,
what you're experiencing, there's people out here like me that are like, let's go,
yeah,
let's do this.
right? And that, we can even go deeper into that too, where, you know, with everything you're saying, listening to, trusting yourself, listening to yourself, understanding that when you take those steps, the next step reveals itself, the resources appear for yourself, the mentors, the people that can help you as we are doing for people are there. Guys, when you take your step to move forward, you're essentially listening to that voice inside, listening to that dream, that goal. You can call that your higher self. You can call it your intuition. You can call that God. You can call it the universe. You can call it your term, but it's your calling. It is your faith in action. And when you take action on those steps, as I said before, life gets good for one, but two, you come alive. And Rachel's describing to us the joy that comes from that, but also the support that comes from that. Because anytime you take a leap of faith, it can be scary if you have your head down. But to have your head up and go through it, or walk through the journey for that matter, the healing journey, support always shows up because it's a sign to you that you're doing what you're meant to do. And regardless of what level listeners or viewers have right now of where you might be at on that journey, maybe you're someone that focuses more so on the creation process, the external process, and what you can create with your hands and everything, or you're someone that understands the mindset or emotional or spiritual terms that we're using right now, you're exactly where you meant to be. And whether there's a calling to you, a dream, a goal that's really reaching out, your purpose, when you take a step to that, believe me, support comes. So your fears will fade away. But to trust that, as Rachel did for herself, to trust the higher self, the universe, God, whatever term you want to use for it, when you trust that step, oh my goodness, you're like the abundance Rachel speaks of, the joy, the love, the truthfully, probably the energy you bring to everyone around you at this point. Like you can see the
Mm.
energy beaming off you. We can all experience that when we trust it and take a step towards it. It's beautiful. Yeah.
I mean, it was a testament to me when my kids are like, "Mom, you've changed. You never yell anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're always so happy." Like, and you do. Your ways of being are just different. And I bring a set of energy like that to each one of my clients.
Yeah.
They have an instant messaging portal where they get 24/7 support because healing is not black and white. It's not linear.
Yeah.
It's like a bowl of spaghetti and you're trying to weave your way through it and it looks different for everybody.
Yeah.
But like I said, over all of these years I've been doing this, I've collected a lot of tools in my toolkit.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting when my clients take ownership and they're like, let's go, let's do this. And they're
Yeah.
ready and willing to do what it takes. And it does. The things show up that they need.
Yeah. That's awesome. And let's dive into that a little bit more on what happens when even before a client signs on, because you mentioned that you now have the messaging aspect, you have the resources there, you have so many tools in your toolkit that you give to people. What does that look like? Say there's a viewer or a listener right now and they're like, you know what, I want to get in touch with Rachel. What is that process? Two, what do they like? It's an online platform, so how do they, what's the steps they need to take, and what do they get from those steps from you?
Well, first and foremost, we would have a free phone chat
Yep.
because I like to screen all my clients to make sure we're aligned, we're on the same page, talk about how I work, my programs, what I offer. And then if it's a go, they're like, yes, sign me up yesterday. We enter into an agreement, sign a
Yep.
client agreement. Sometimes we do labs right up front. Sometimes we just hit the ground running because
Nice.
not everybody needs labs, but some people want labs to get motivated. They're
Yeah.
like, well, where's all my red marks? Oh, I got some work to do. But at the end of the day, when we start working on, like I said, those foundational things,
Yep.
and then add in the drainage support and the diet changes, and then some detox support and movement, they can make a lot of progress just
Yeah.
working through that stuff.
Yeah.
And then we get on coaching calls, kind of like this, virtually,
Yep.
once a week, sometimes twice a month,
Mhm.
and work through whatever's starting to come up. And whatever comes up between that, they have the instant messaging to
Yeah.
message me. And so, we use supplement protocols to help support drainage and clear out the gut microbiome. And,
Nice.
sometimes there's nutrient deficiencies we target.
Yeah.
Um, and then on down the line, I have an energy block healer, somebody who does kind of like energy release
Nice.
that they get in contact with as well.
That's awesome. So yeah,
Yeah.
you really do bring so much.
Cover it all.
Yeah, right? That's phenomenal. When someone, now you do the call and someone signs on with you, is it for a certain amount of time? Like listener right now, is it like a 3-month period? Is it a year? Is it like, what do you usually start people at for that matter? Or is it just a full journey with you?
So yeah, I've tried out different kinds of programs. I do a month to month now where
Okay.
people can just do as much as they need and
Yep.
as much as they require. I used to offer a 6-month package. I'm looking at bringing that back just
Nice.
because it can take some time. If you've been sick a really long time,
Mm,
it can take a good 6 to 9 months
yep.
to get your everything back on track.
Yeah.
I had a client who was sick for 10 years and it took her the full 6 months, but her symptoms are all reversed. Her chronic fatigue, she was on iron infusions for anemia,
Wow.
wasn't sleeping well, chronic pain, and she's reversed it all.
Yeah.
And
Phenomenal.
she was
Yeah.
in her 50s, so it doesn't mean you have to live with that stuff your whole life. It's
Right.
just amazing what can happen when you take ownership and go to the root cause.
I love that. I love that. And you mentioned the woman, the incredible story, but the woman who was in her 50s, it does not matter what age someone starts their healing journey, but
That's
it
right.
will always bring an incredible result, regardless of when you start it. And I'm so glad you mentioned that
And
small fact.
regardless how long you've been sick,
Yeah.
people think, oh, this is my destiny. It doesn't have to be.
Yeah. Right. You change that story. Your destiny's
That's
a whole
right.
different. You change that story.
Like your body's working hard to keep you well.
Yeah.
Like we interpret a lot of these bothersome symptoms as our body being broken and we need fixed.
Yeah.
When in reality, it's working hard to keep things going.
Yeah.
So how
Right.
can we help support it? How can we really plug in and honor what it needs? What
Yeah.
is our heart actually saying?
Awesome. Yeah, right. And that's the beauty of it too, where certain injuries or aspects of healing we need to step into is a signal your body telling you of what deeper area you need to heal. And I think it's so incredible how it all intertwines together. And you'll resonate with this, and I want to get your take on it. I tell my clients, I tell my audiences just as much. Um, you know, the healing journey and you stepping into it, the literal self-talk you have towards your body. And when I go to the gym and I'm so energized to be in there, I'm loving it because I love my body, but two, I'm actively working to make my body better. I already love where it's at, but it's getting better. A lot of people go into the gym or look at nutrition and everything because they hate their body or they don't like their body. And that in itself is sending such a message to your body where you're going to naturally create internal stress, create injury, and you're going to be more susceptible to injuries popping up. So when you're helping someone on mindset aspects and really diving into that routine aspect, how much does that self-talk piece pop up or need to get adjusted? Because I think that's major right now.
It's major. I think it's the missing piece in a lot of people's healing journeys because we just let our thoughts run our life like they're truth.
Yeah.
And until we really start to pay attention on what we're focusing on, oh, my legs are fat. Oh, my butt is big. Oh, if I eat that, I'm going to get fat. Well, if you keep having fat thoughts, what do you think is going to happen?
Yeah. Right.
And so it's like paying attention to, hey, body, I really love you. Hey,
Yeah.
fabulous legs.
Yeah.
Thank you for working for me.
Yeah.
You know what, heart? You have beated for me my whole life. Thank you so much. And just really find kindness and compassion towards ourselves. It's amazing. Visualizing what your ideal weight is,
Right.
Can help you accomplish that goal.
Yeah. Right. And that's gratitude in action. That's law of attraction in action, law of resonance for that matter, and manifestation all coming together. But people listening, whether you're new to those topics, there's so much truth behind it. And if you're thinking of your body as, we'll just describe it as lower level, it's not where you want it and you're upset about it, by constantly telling yourself how upset you are, or as Rachel described your legs and everything, to be able to look at yourself differently. One, be grateful for your heart beating for as long as it has. These are all things that we overlook and we take for granted in life. But that's why, as Rachel said earlier, to take time for yourself to realize, oh my goodness, there's more blessings around me than I even interpreted. And then to really hone in on those brings more gratitude, brings more positivity, energy, vibrancy, whatever term you want to use for it. It allows you to see things in such a different light to where you're then bringing more light in, but also shining more light out. And you heal your body in the whole process. You heal your mind, your spirit in the entire process. It's such a transformational experience. So, Rachel, that's why I'm so thankful for one, you being on the show, but two, for you to express this to people, because it's something that I think so many people overlook. And life will take you to a point where, whether it's a healing journey, whether it's a trauma you're trying to heal from, or just something you can't even figure out, but life will take you to a point where you need to look at these factors, and to listen to that signal when it first pops up saves you time. It's not, no, everything works together. So no matter when you get to that point, it will work itself together. But to find the lesson and then learn the lesson when it pops up allows you to move up and level up. And if we keep saying no, 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 we're getting upset that this keeps popping up, and we're more so getting frustrated and angry rather than understanding what we need to take the step towards. Life change happens in a matter of a moment. And if we listen to that lesson and learn the lesson, well, get ready because you just walk through the door. And Rachel, you're taking that to people. So that's incredible.
Taking that, and you're exactly right. I usually tell my clients, well, what are you resisting?
Mm,
Because what we are resisting persists. Learning how to surrender and trust into the unknown was one of the biggest lessons I've been learning over this past year, because I'm a controller by nature.
mm,
Controlling things is more natural to me. It feels more comfortable and safe.
yeah.
To release and let go and let the flow of uncertainty flow. Whoa,
Yeah.
that's really freaky.
I get that.
But once I started to learn that, it created a lot less tension in my
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. If I just flow and see how things actually work out, what's that gonna look like? That's new to me.
Yeah.
And so just being aware of your patterns. What are you repeating?
Yeah.
What are you resisting? What are you scared of? The unknown can be freaky, but that's probably the way you need to go.
True. It's so true, right? That's what we learn and grow. And I think a lot of us are afraid of the uncertainty, the unknown, the comfort zone, to step out of it for that matter.
Yeah.
But when you do, like,
Mm.
probably supposed to take that step, We're not
It's
supposed to
like
live life in a
you
box.
kind of get used to it. It's like over here in the background, still, giving you the messages and trying to pull you out of flow. But I'm like, I'm smarter now. I'm wiser now. I
Yeah.
can shift and pivot a lot quicker out of that place
Yeah.
and into my flow state. And
100%. No, I love it. I think that's the truth and everything. And to emphasize a point you mentioned earlier, with the truths that we tell ourselves, what we think is the truth, whether it's a negative voice, whether it's the positive voice, but if it is that negative voice, to have a coach step in, whether it's Rachel, whether it's me, whether it's someone else, to have someone step in and really shake up what the truths are in here, the self-talk is, you start to change your perspective. And if your perspective changes, if you start to see yourself and you see the world differently, and you realize that what you were telling yourself doesn't serve you anymore, and then you have a coach to support you in the entire process, as Rachel does, to learn that there is such a greater, more empowering, more, we'll just say, loving light truth that we're supposed to live by. When you step into that, life change is just a matter of, just as you said, letting it flow. And it happens, it comes together. So I'm so grateful that you made that point earlier, Rachel. And, I got one last question for you. I don't want to keep it too long. I want the viewers to really absorb all this in and go right to your website. But we've covered so many topics in such a small amount of time. What is a lasting message that you want people to really take with them before we close this video out?
if I could scream it from the mountaintops, this is what I'd want people to know, is that they can heal,
Mm,
that there is a way, it's their way, and that they have all the answers, all they need within them.
yeah.
It's just a matter of listening to it, having the courage to follow it, and really start to embrace who you really are.
Yeah.
I mean, there's nothing better in this life than for you to be you, and you to have the health, the wealth, the abundance, the flow, the joy that you deserve. And that is our birthright.
Yeah. Oh, phenomenal. That's exactly it. Yeah. And so, viewers, listeners, whoever it is, take that. It's your birthright right there. And to move forward in that, as I said earlier, life gets so good. And why not experience that in life? It feels great. It brings joy in. So I appreciate that message right there, Rachel. That's empowering. Now, one last piece. Where can viewers, listeners find you? Because I've seen your Instagram, but you have so many other links there. You have your website. Tell people, where can they find you if they want more information?
Yeah, I'm at rachelshealingarts.com, Rachel's_healing arts on Instagram, Rachel's Healing Arts on Facebook. I'm even on TikTok. I'm trying it all, guys, because I want to reach people. I want people to hear my message and hear the message that they're worth it. They can heal. We can do this together. I know it can be scary, but where there's a will, there's a way. And I think a lot of people feel hopeless.
Mm,
That their symptoms are chronic and they'll never get well.
yeah.
I've seen a lot of miracles, guys, a
Mm,
lot of miracles. And so my joy would be to be an honor to work with anybody who's ready to be motivated and open-minded and ready to do the work.
yeah. Phenomenal. phenomenal. And viewers, listeners right now, take that to heart and run with it. As she said, to echo that message, Rachel is right there waiting for you for whenever you want to take that step. But now that you're hearing the message, is this your little voice telling you, yeah, it's probably something I need? Should I reach out to Rachel? I'm going to tell you, definitely reach out to her. She just, in the amount of time that we had today, she has just expressed to you how much she brings to the table in a healing aspect to guide you, not to do the journey with you, but to guide you in how to ease the process, to help you in it, to walk the path with you. And at the end of the day, if there's a fear or to holding some people back from that, or something seems scary, to take that leap of faith, to walk that path with someone, to hold your hand until you're ready to fly on your own, the best blessing you could have. And Rachel is more than willing to do that for you. So guys, go to all those links that she describes. I'm going to put them at the end of these credits so you know exactly where to go. You're going to find them in the link in the description here on YouTube. But guys, take it and run with it. Even if it's just a free call with Rachel to learn more on how it can work for you specifically, that's always on the table, as she said to us earlier. But Rachel, I appreciate that impactful message. Seriously, you bring so much to the table to people. It's a major blessing. It really is. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Billy. It's been an honor and joy to be here and share this space with you. I appreciate you and all that you're doing.
Love it. No, I appreciate it. So guys, you heard it right there. It's one impactful message. So if you need to re-listen to this, by all means, re-listen to it, take it, the keys that we talked about, and run with it. And if you want more, like I said, you're going to find Rachel's stuff in the credits of this video and the link in the description. And if you're looking to get more understanding on what I do with Billy G Life Coaching, or just one of the seminars that we're doing, guys, head to billygLifeCoaching.com. You can set up a free call with me, just like you can with Rachel, and learn more about how we can help you take these steps along your own journey, whether it's a healing journey or whether it's a journey to your goal or your dream. Guys, the resources are here for you right now. So I thank you for viewing. Like this message on YouTube, hit that thumbs up button, subscribe so you know when a new video is coming. This is episode 301, and there's no end in sight. We're just going to keep the ball rolling. And guys, share this message to someone who you feel needs to take a step onto their healing journey, because that's what we're all in the process of doing. But guys, I thank you for viewing. And Rachel, one last time, I thank you so much for being here.
Thank you. Everybody have a fabulous day.
Phenomenal. See you guys.
I've been around and doing it, but now it's my time to shine and start proving it. I'm losing it, I'm moving it. The city is where I'm made, Bostonian flow, I kick it back there. Yeah, I got game, got in a fan way. We the city of the champs, every sport we play. Spit wetter than the harbor, yeah, I'm flowing like the